Hello ladies and gentlemen, this is Blue Maxima. I usually don't do PSP games, but this is probably going to be one of the very last new PSP games there are going to be, which is really quite weird considering this game is actually 9 years old at this point. I'm not even joking, like I looked it up and even I was surprised. This game literally came out 9 years ago in Japan, it took us this long to get it. But nevertheless, this is The Legend of Heroes Trails in the Sky 2nd chapter. I'm going to do my best to avoid spoilers. I've got a side quest in mind on the first chapter that I can go do. I've only been playing for about 4 hours at this point, and honestly, I don't know how much better the video will get if I play for like 5 or 6 or 10 or 20 or whatever. Especially considering that I never actually got around to finishing Trails in the Sky first chapter. Like, I got 6 or 7 hours into that, and then I lost my save game, and that sucked. So, yeah, this is coming from someone who's basically a Trails noob. I recognized some of the characters that showed up in the first chapter or so, and I get the plot, and I feel like I've been spoiled on half the things that happened in the first chapter, but nevertheless, we'll give this a shot anyway. So, one thing you never really go into with these games is what you set in the settings. I've left bilinear filtering on because I just think it looks better, personally. I could probably turn that off, but at the same time, it probably wouldn't make that much of a difference on the video anyway, because YouTube's processing is terrible. And I've also got the right stick assigned to the L and R buttons. We'll get into why that is later on. I don't have anything on the touch screen, because I don't think it's necessary. So we're just going to load my save game here. Which one was it that I wanted to load into? There's a lot of bloody save games here. I imagine it's this one. Yeah, this one's where I'm right outside the hotel. So we'll just load right into this, because why not? Always a good way to start these videos. Loading my save game. Anyway. So here we are in town. Honestly, even though I know it's a PSP game, it still looks lovely. Even though I know it's a PlayStation Portable game from 9 years ago, I still think it looks lovely. Like, just, this graphical style is just really well done. It's very simplistic and hell, in some scenes, like if we just go into one of these shops here, or should I say the casino and bar, because why the hell not? If we go into one of these, you can't actually change the camera angle at all, but it still looks fantastic. Sure, the 3D has a few lines around it and all that, and I imagine the bilinear filtering is helping with making it not look absolutely terrible. But the game still looks really nice. Two-dimensional elements suffer a little bit. As you can see, it looks relatively unpleasant, but at the same time, I don't know why I doubled down, but I'm pretty sure I screwed up there. Yep, we both busted. But anyway, this is an RPG, not a bloody gambling game, so we're just going to wander on outside and we're going to just take a look around at a few things. But yeah, the game does look absolutely great for a PSP game from 9 years ago. And I've liked pretty much every song on the soundtrack that I've heard. It adds a level of flavor to every individual town and location that you go to. That's a really settling thing. I guess that's what I'm looking for is. It's just really easy to settle down and figure out what the hell you're doing. But anyway, so we are bracers, which are one of the guilds that run in this nation. And I might as well sum up some of the story while I'm talking about this, but I'll try and be as spoiler-free as possible. Someone's gone missing, you have to go find them. And yeah, there's a lot of stuff related to the previous game. There's like a ton of stuff missing. But anyway, so there are a few things you can do. So this is the Bracer Guild, where if you go to the notice board here, you can come pick up quests. We're going to be doing this quest here over the course of this video. That is if we can get it done. We might have some really bad luck. Nevertheless. So you can come here and you can talk to people. And you can enter a ton of buildings and talk to a ton of different people. And they've all got something different to say. And the writing in this game is actually spectacular. I mean, there's nothing that particularly stands out. It's just really well-toned and really just fun to read, which is kind of surprising. Over here we've got the Orbital Factory. Might as well go in here while we're talking. So yeah, all the dialogue in this game is really well written, and it really does contribute to how the world feels. There is a lot of dialogue related to the first game, and there are save bonuses for importing the a save from the first game, including you can keep your stats, you can keep some of your items, and you get bonus items from everyone that you helped in the first game. So anyway, what I've got here is the Orbital Factory. Now, if I just quit out of this and go to the Orbment menu, every character has orbals, which is a weird way, orbments, not orbals. And you put these little orbals into these slots, and if they connect up to each other in a correct way, you'll get bonuses. And if you also put in more than one, you'll get more bonuses. And these all give you different kinds of bonuses. Like, you got strength plus 3%, defense plus 3%, max HP plus 3%. And you've also got orbal arts, which are unlocked by using specific orbals in specific slots. So you can get all sorts of different spells, and depending on what orbal you put on what guy, you get all sorts of different abilities. So I've got them both pretty well hooked up to do a sort of offensive stuff, so they'll be good at attacking. You've also got your typical equipment set, which has different effects and all that. And we can probably go and buy some more later on. You got your status screen. Strangely enough, for this game, they start you off with a lot of stuff. I mean, the import lets you import characters, and if they're in between level 35 and 40, they actually stay that level. So you can actually play, like, first chapter and second chapter directly, which is actually really nice. There's also a bunch of other stuff you can do. So we just went and talked to him. So you can buy orbments from him, or you can upgrade slots for higher power orbments and all that. So high power orbment slots or something. God, they use a lot of weird terms, but thankfully there's something to help with that. And you can also do things like change where characters are in the party and change their battle positions. And you can also come here to your options. You can change the status display, the minimap, so you can fix it, hide it, rotate it, and you can even determine how you want the camera to work. So I think I'll just go outside and demonstrate that before I go do anything else. I don't really know what to talk about without spoiling too much, but then again, I don't really know that much about what's going on. So yeah, you can change the camera to work 45 degrees, but that's actually inverted. So reverse is the same thing. You can also change to reverse free. So that's quite nice. You can also turn on the battle voice, the movement, the locations. Like, you've also got a difficulty setting that you pick at the beginning of the game, but unfortunately you can't change it in-game. But if it's too hard, you can always retry battles you fail on a lower difficulty, which is quite nice. But anyway, you can also come to here to save, and there's plenty of save slots. So yeah, I ain't got much to worry about. Yes, I don't want to cancel the save, so there are a bunch of things you can go and do. I should really put that back in the way I had it before. So most of the stuff you can do is contained within the triangle menu. Now, the triangle menu has a bunch of stuff to work with here. You've got your fishing book, which shows you how you can go fishing. You've got, and it lists all your fish that you've caught. You've got the map, which shows you all the paths and stuff in between all the different cities and all that. You've got the monster guide, which is basically a bestiary, and lists all the different locations. And you've got the recipe book, which means you can use it to cook stuff. So if I wanted to cook some Nature's Bounty or a herb sandwich, I could do that. So I can make two of them by using the respective ingredients, and I can go and buy ingredients from the shop, and I can also go and find them on enemies, because some ingredients can only be found on monsters. And if we go to the Bracer notebook, I'm just going to skip chapter 0 to try and avoid spoilers, but there's not much I can really do to help with, there's not really much I can do to avoid spoilers, but nevertheless. So here is your handbook, which actually shows you not only all the, well, not all the spells, but a fair amount of the spells you can get. Gives you all the details you need about how everything works, which I really like, because that means you can pretty safely skip pretty much the entirety of the game's tutorial chapter and just play and figure it out by yourself, which is what I did. And that's actually really nice, because I skipped the majority of the tutorials because I played Tits FC before, only slightly, and it's actually really, really easy to do that, so it's quite pleasant. So if you're here, you can also exchange Sepith, which is what you pick up off dead enemies, for money. And you can also, excuse me, you can also just, when you're in the orbital shop, you use this stuff to build new insertables. So you can, I'm just going to trade in like half of what I got, or just like roughly that.
So see, now I've got a ton of money that I can spend. Doesn't seem he gets... Does he get much of a bonus from it? No, he doesn't. Well, Estelle will get a bonus from this fiber vest. And the metal spike shoes. So why not? And she'll get a bit off the fiber rod, so why not? So, you've got a fair few ways to make money. You can go and do quests, or you can beat the hell out of enemies and change their stuff later. I know it's annoying watching me play an RPG, but nevertheless, fiber rod. And a gate will probably be fine. He's a couple of levels higher than me, so you've got just these lovely shops and towns to wander around, but at some point we're going to have to go and get into the combat. But the first thing I want to do is I want to go and pick up our quest and rest our characters, because we're not doing pretty fantastic at the moment. So we'll just come to this hotel and rest it up a bit. Thankfully, you can save wherever you want, except inside a battle, of course. So, not that big of a deal. Alright, the quest is in here, and we'll just read a bit more of this dialogue that's going on here. So we're going to the Sephiral Tower to go and get a photo of something on a roof, which is quite strange, but nevertheless, I'm just doing this to make sure we don't run into any spoilers. Yeah, every character is well written, and when you got these little faces in the corner here that are doing these emotions, or showing some emotions, it's actually really nice. It's easy to... They don't do much voice dubbing in this game. There is some voice dubbing in the combat, but overall, there's just not that much to work with. But even without it, you can hear the characters' voices in your head purely based on their facial expressions of what they're saying, which is actually is something a really well-written game they can actually do. Okay, so apparently this device is working, so we're just gonna go and check it out. Because why not, right? Alright, fair enough. Alright, we've got our quest, so we can go do that now. Election. That's a weird way of pronouncing it, mate. Do I have the supplies I need before we go? I could do with some more, one way or another. I know there's a general goods shop around here somewhere. See, this camera movement I don't really like because it's just so sharp that it moves way too quickly. I'm going to change that back. So yeah, just wandering around these towns is just nice and relaxing, and talking to all these different characters. Whoops, there it was. Talking to all these different characters that all have their own little character voices, and it's just a really well-written localization, and I'm surprised it took 9 years, but it might have been worth it. Let's see. I'm looking for something that'll heal a ton of HP. Revival Balm. We might as well buy 5 of these. And there should be something else here. Yeah, we'll buy 5 of these too. We do have a healing spell, so it's not that big of a deal. Okay. Let's go to this area and get into some combat and just talk about what else the game can do. The game's got some really interesting cutscenes, and all sorts of just battles tend to pop up out of nowhere, but what I like is that the game... I've actually gone in the wrong direction. Right, I've got to go back the other way. What I like is that the game actually warns you every time you're about to get into a really big fight. So you end up being able to go and save anyway, which is really nice. And sometimes it doesn't even do that, so it kind of throws you off guard a little. That was kind of annoying, honestly. But nevertheless, it's actually really nice because you get plenty of opportunities to save and go do stuff. So it's not the game's fault if you don't prepare for a fight. And even then, the easy difficulty is actually quite, well, easy, obviously. So you can just sit back, relax, and you can always have multiple save slots, and it's all quite nice and well balanced. And the game's cutscenes are actually really long and give the world a lot of depth, which is really surprising. You end up learning a lot about that went badly. You end up learning a lot about the game's world as you play through, and considering this is only 4 hours in, I feel like I have a rough grasp of what's going on. That's actually pretty impressive. We kind of got screwed here, but my fault. So, this is how the battle system works. It's a strategy game-ish. Like, what's the game I'm thinking of? Well, like pretty much any other strategy RPG ever, honestly, but there are a couple of things to set it apart. So, the two basic things we can do are move and attack, as you can see. And when you move and attack, that obviously takes your entire turn up. There are also other things you can do. So, we've got our 3 resources there. Our HP, our EP, and our CP. Our EP is our magic meter, obviously. That's obvious. But our CP is something a little different. So every time you get hit by an attack, or every time you successfully pull off an attack, you will get to do some special moves. And these special moves are known as crafts. Unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to show you any of them because I've got to get my guys back in the fray. But to do that, I probably want to use a healing item.
We're good to go.
Because I don't want them to be knocked flat on their ass after just one turn, but thankfully she gets to move again, so we'll just move her down here. And thankfully you can attack, and you'll be able, and if you can move closer to the enemy, you'll move closer to that enemy. It's quite nice. But look at that little waddle. I love these animations. Unfortunately, I don't think you can change the camera angle in battles, which is a little disappointing, but nevertheless. Yeah, see, I'm hammering LNR, but yeah, it's pretty much stuck like this. But yeah, crafts take a specific amount of CP, which is craft points, I take it? Might as well. And you've got plenty of different options. Even right at the beginning, you have all of these, so you can do all sorts of crazy stuff. So the S-crafts take 100, the rest take anywhere between 20 and 30, obviously. And you've also got combination attacks, or chain attacks, or whatever the bloody hell you want to call them. And you can select these to have 2 characters attack together for the CP cost. Really shouldn't have wasted that much CP on such a weak enemy, but nevertheless, we can actually do that again. But at the same time, I might as well do something a little different. So yeah, the main purpose of battle in the game is to get as many... Oh dear, I think he's poisoned. That's not pleasant. The main purpose of these fights is to manage your CP to... Do I have something that can cure poison? I really hope I do. I do, thank Christ. Really should have gotten that guy a poison preventing earring before I left. So, yeah, so those are the crafts. You've also got your arts, which is your magic, and you won't be able to do, and you won't be able to cast arts the turn that you start using them. You have to wait until your turn comes up again before you can use them, and if you get hit too hard by any particular attack, it'll throw you off the attack. So what you have to do is you have to keep your guys out of the way until that time. So it's this whole backwards and forwards balance of attempting to... I might as well get into another battle. I mean, well, first thing I want to do is I want to try and... That's a gigantic looking emu, isn't it? Emus are always a bitch in video games, so I don't know if I want to go charging into this one, but nevertheless, I'm probably being an idiot by using my items and not my EP at this point, but no matter. I was hoping we'd get a surprise attack off that, but apparently we don't. Ow! That was mean. Alright. You get to... Wrong thing. Well, I might as well take that thing out first to keep it from getting in the way too much. Can I actually get it from this distance? No, unfortunately. And there is pushback, and
there are all sorts of things craft moves can do. You can use them to, like, prevent the enemy from taking their turn. You can use them to create specific status effects. And, of course, arts can also be used to get specific status effects, which is really quite nice. And we can also use things like AT delay special moves, which actually delay their turn. And you can see those bonuses that are coming up on the left there. That's the turn order. And you've also got bonuses that come up. So if you can successfully, like, kill an enemy or get them... If you can successfully get them to a lower place on the meter, you can prevent them from getting those particular bonuses. So there's a whole bunch of systems you need to make play with each other in order to make sure that the battles go alright. That wasn't very good. Monsters do actually have things like resistances to specific types of magic. So if we have a look at this, this one's weak to wind, because those elemental efficacies, it's a little strange. Like this one here, obviously the green meter is the highest, so you want to be using your... It's a Roadrunner? Really? Okay, never mind. But yeah, you can use... It tells you what you have to use, and obviously the more of these bloody bastards you kill, the more... Ow! The more of these details that you'll get. It's quite nice. Yeah, there we go. Now we just need to land a basic attack and we'll be good. And we got a Sepith up bonus from that, so we'll get even more Sepith from that one. Which means more money. And more stuff. There we go. And we even get more, and we even get an item to help us with our cooking, which is actually quite nice. So the battle system is pretty tense, because you have to be juggling all these different things. You can juggle arts, which have different... You can juggle your arts, your magic. You can juggle your crafts with all their special abilities, and you can just... And you have all sorts of different ways to make the game continue on. I really don't have that much to say, because I'm a critic, so I usually like finding things to criticize, and honestly, I haven't found anything to criticize yet. The story's moving along at a really nice pace. I mean, that might be a cause of the game being, well, a direct sequel. Because this game is indeed a direct sequel and the save import works almost directly. And it's just kind of ridiculous, honestly, just how well the story's moving along. I mean, like 4 hours in, I felt like that the game works really well in terms of pacing itself. You've got plenty of... Might as well do a hurricane. I've never been able to get this thing to work properly. It always misses someone. But nevertheless. Oh, well, I got them both. It just didn't do that much damage. Oh, well. But the game is very good at doing... Might as well demonstrate a S thing. It's actually a really nice animation. But yeah, the game moves along really, really smoothly, and lots of story is compressed into a very small amount of time, which is actually pretty impressive. It's really quite fast, and it doesn't spend too long, like, talking in your ear about stuff, at least not at the very beginning. Apparently I get a critical on myself, but that doesn't really do anything. I really should have, like, attacked or something. So this is the stuff you gotta be careful of. I'm an idiot, but, you know, my idiocy helps demonstrate the game a bit.
Shouldn't have done that.
And, well, to be fair, this is actually pretty convincing in telling me to go back and try out Trails in the Sky First Chapter again, because this game is actually surprisingly good. I mean, there's nothing in this game I can realistically say I don't like it. The music is really nice, the environmental design and the sprite designs are really good. It's just everything about this game is good. There's a ton of different interplaying subsystems. There's fishing, there's cooking, there's your orbments, there's just, like, seriously, I can't think of a single thing in this game that I don't like. Just everything works really, really well together. Actually, no, hang on, there's one thing I don't like, and that you can only have one specific type of orbment, at least in the beginning. Like, you can only have one of every type of orbment that you can buy in the shop. So, like, I can't stack, like, 3 attacking orbments on top of Estelle, because I would
want to have her being a mainly attack character, which is unfortunate. But even then, when you start getting the more powerful orbments and start mixing and matching, well, things will start getting a hell of a lot more interesting, I imagine. So, it looks great, it sounds great, that there's a ton of gameplay systems that are easily explained, and you have just a huge reference to everything you need to know in the game. And you start off at level 40, or well, no, that's wrong. Estelle starts level 35, which is like the minimum level for the save import. And it all works really well in getting the story and the combat off, because you get a ton of different crafts and you get a bunch of arts, and the game doesn't spend like 2 or 3 hours holding your hand. It literally lets you skip all the tutorials, even if you're coming from even if you're not coming from a chapter 1 save. It lets you go immediately, and it lets you retry battles at lower difficulty if you want. But it also lets you just go back to the title screen and reload a save. Obviously, there's no, like, auto-saving or something. You know what? Screw it. Come here. Battle. What are these, ghosts? Mint Pom. A dastardly green fluff. Okay, I actually like that. Some of the writing in this game is actually absolutely hilarious, too. Like, there's a chest in the initial dungeon that I opened, and it said, "You have opened the chest and found the treasure of nothing." It was something like this. I apologize for not remembering exactly. But it was the second line that made me laugh the most. It was, "You have opened a chest and found it full of spiders. The spiders look up, clap, and congratulate you." It's something ridiculous like that, and I absolutely adore it. And just, there are tiny little parts to the game's writing like this, which are just... It ran for it. Cheeky little fuck. But... just the first 4 hours of this game have been positively glowing. With just general polish, well-written dialogue, combat that doesn't take anywhere near as much time as you might expect to get going, and... I mean, at 4 hours in, I'm free to go and do some side quests and wander around the place a little bit. Not too much, but a little bit, and it's just... it's great! I mean, if you wanted to give me a really good first impression, you've done an absolutely... I was coming to bloody give this guy, EP charge. There we go. Now, I will not heal anyone, because we're actually doing quite alright at the moment. But the game is doing... shit! God damn it! I tried twice to hit these bastards in the arse, and I couldn't do it, because I'm an idiot. But, nevertheless... the game itself gets off to a really, really good start. At least that's what I have found. It gives you everything you need to play the combat. Oh dear. Right. High physical defense. That must mean we want some art moves to work here. I assume yeah, fire will work about the same as anything else. I'm probably going to want to stop that Mint Pom from doing whatever it's planning on doing. And thankfully... well... right, craft. I have something for this, don't I? Impede. Right, guard break. There we go. Now he doesn't get to launch its attack. And we actually get another turn. And I will attack you. So... yeah, as I've already said like 3 or 4 times already, great dialogue, great graphics, great sound, it's great presentation overall, despite the fact that it's a bloody 9-year-old PSP game. It's got... actually, I'll do my taunt craft, so now this thing comes and gets me instead, hopefully. Oh, come on! Alright, never mind. We'll just do another firebolt. Really should be using cheaper EP moves, but whatever. It does everything it needs to get off the ground really, really well, and it's giving me such a good impression that I'm gonna have to go back and play the first game again, because... seriously, this is quite fantastic, a first impression. I imagine the first game isn't gonna be so good about this, because, you know, it's the first game in the series, and the tutorials are probably gonna be more longer-winded and stuff like that, but... honestly, I'm so impressed, I'm probably going to go back and play the first game again, and frankly, you probably should as well. But it's actually quite alright, because
the first game is actually on sale for a week. If you're watching this video when it comes out, obviously. You can buy Trails in the Sky first chapter on PlayStation Network right now for $10. Which is half its regular price. And that is actually really good. So, if you want to check this game out, you absolutely can. Hey, there's a chest up here. A Genus Blouse. What the hell does that mean? Let's go have a look. It is a very basic RPG. I mean, it isn't doing anything... I guess none of my guys can equip it? Oh, no, she can. And it actively helps in everything, so why the hell wouldn't I? But yeah, my first impressions of second chapter are absolutely fantastic. So, would I recommend it? I probably wouldn't recommend that you go and, I probably wouldn't recommend that you go and play this game, like, right off the bat. But, at the same time, if you were considering buying this just because you saw it on the store and you're like, oh, that's interesting, I wonder if Blue Maxima's done a video on it yet. Well, go play the first game because it's cheaper. I mean, this game's $30, which is admittedly a bit much. It's also pretty ridiculously large. I mean, you know how big this game is? It comes on 2 PSP UMDs in Japan. So they literally had to make 2 different digital download icons and say in the manual, if it tells you to change the disc, save the game, close the game, open the second disc, and play it from there. I really hope they did the Metal Gear Solid thing where they put all the relevant files on the second disc, so you don't have to worry about it being annoying like that. But at the same time, it's also nice because you can only download the first part of the game and then play through the first part of the game, because we are pretty limited on memory card space here, we all are, aren't we? The annoying thing being you can't really tell which one is the first part and which one's the second part. At least not at a decent glance, because, yeah, I leveled up, so I get, like, stat bonuses and all that. It's nothing too extraordinary. All your main stuff is done on your orbments, so yeah, it's worth keeping that in mind. But, little trick for ya. The first part of second chapter is the one that's just over 1.1 gig. The second part is 1.3 gig. So, yeah, if you're downloading this game, just grab the first part. But yeah, nevertheless, based purely off my first 4 hours in second chapter, I'd be more than happy to recommend you go pick up first chapter, because if they've got the same level of competency in terms of world building and writing and simple just comedy and the same sort of presentation and design and sound design and just everything is so good in that sense. If everything is so good in the first game compared to the second game, because I imagine they are, because they were made like a year in between each other. Like, this game came out in this game came out in 2006 in Japan, and I think the first one came out in 2005. Yeah, if it's about the same, no matter what you're doing, then I'd fully recommend you go pick this up. Or at least pick the first game up, then go pick the second game up, because it's great. Absolutely great. Would fully recommend, purely based on my first few hours. Although, again, I would recommend you go pick up the first game, because not only does this game have decent save import bonuses, but obviously it's a big interconnected story, and you kind of get spoiled on what happens in Trails in the Sky FC in the first couple of hours. So, yeah, you do kind of want to, you know, just avoid that if you can. I'm really not sure what else to say. Everything about this game is just gorgeous. So we can either try and take out this one, but I don't have anything. Oh, I can actually. I will. Actually, if I do my final break, why not? We might as well watch it again. English dub isn't absolutely fantastic, but it only comes up every now and again, and I'm not too offset by it. Not by any means.
Shouldn't have done that.
Just a thoroughly enjoyable game to play.
I really have, like, zero argument. Oh, look, I can even rotate this. And there's a chest there. Didn't really have anything worth two shits in it. Never mind. But, yeah, Trails in the Sky, second chapter. Based purely off of what I've played, this game is great. So far, it's great, and I can't imagine it getting much worse than this. I just gotta figure out which one of these bloody ways leads up. Hey, chest. I'm gonna have to keep this around just to give me a reason to go and play first chapter. You found the treasure, deja vu. I love that. That's such a silly little thing to put. I was a little bit disappointed when I found a locked door, tried to open it, and said this door is locked. A little bit disappointed the game didn't try to snark at me for trying to open a random locked door, but alright, whatever. I'm going to spend like 10 minutes wandering around here if I let myself do that, so I'm just going to stop the video here. That was just a quick look at Trails in the Sky, second chapter. Thoroughly enjoying it, and I should probably recommend you go and pick up the first game while it's on sale for $10. This has been Blue Maxima, and I'll see you all next time.